Hello, everyone. Welcome to Right Our Way. I'm your host, Patrick Starks, and today we are going to be talking about allowing ourselves to be vulnerable as writers. This episode, my friends, is where we will be diving deep into our souls to find out what this vulnerability means for us. Now, I know as writers, we at times don't like to show our emotions in our stories because maybe we feel like showing that side of us will be judged by the masses. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. Such vulnerability will be judged, but that's why we as writers will as well need to learn how to not take things so personal. I mean, today we live in a very judgmental culture where you could be an angel coming down from the heavens and still almost all the time someone will find some little thing to nitpick on you about. So when you do put this vulnerability into your stories, just be mindful that some people will understand it and some people just won't understand it. But I mean, hopefully some people, if not most people, do understand your vulnerability and your emotions being portrayed in these stories. I mean, as the saying goes, you are never alone. And my friends, I promise you that someone will feel your emotion, whatever story you're writing or whatever character you're portraying. Again, you are not alone. So don't be afraid and be courageous enough to allow your vulnerability to be felt. You know, matter of fact, famous author Neil Gaiman himself even said it, that your writing should feel real and honest. And let's just clarify, this doesn't mean that these vulnerable emotions have to be strictly coming from you. This could be a vulnerable side of a friend or a family member or even someone you just met. For their story, their emotion will be just as good as your own. I mean, of course, we're all human, right? But that's all until you trip and fall and sprain your ankle or even scrape your knee. That's when reality says, yep, you check out. You're definitely human. Now I'm sure a few of you are asking, yeah, but how exactly do I make myself vulnerable on paper, more so fiction or fantasy? Well, trust me when I say it's quite simple, but I totally understand if you're not the emotional type. My friends, yes, Patrick used to be the same way, and I still am sort of at times. However, being the introvert that I am, having a place where I could express my feelings was the most breathtaking, liberating thing I've ever done in my life. And ladies and gentlemen, I know that it will be the same for you. You just gotta trust it. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable as a writer will not only bring your audiences closer to your stories, but will as well be therapeutic for you. My friends, it is greatly important that you get your bottled up emotions out. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that these emotions can be portrayed in any way of your story. It can be portrayed in a character or even in an environment. But let's get down to the gritty of why we need this in our stories and why this portrayal of vulnerability is so important. Think of what the average person in society goes through on a day-to-day basis. They might be frustrated with their job. They might be going through a financial crisis. They might be even going through a big breakup with someone they hold dear to their heart. You get the point. Nevertheless, these type of scenarios absolutely gravitate your audience to the story you've written, simply because who doesn't connect with the things that they find in common, or have in common, should I say. My friends, as the great Michael Jackson said, this is simply our human nature, which is also pretty good song, by the way, but that's besides the point. The point is, you rock star, is that we as human beings need to feel emotion. Without a doubt, flat out, we need to feel emotion. We're emotional creatures, what can I say? Now take for example, although your character is this wizard with extreme magical powers, they could be losing their power due to maybe a loved one they lost, or maybe a loved one they're going through a divorce with. Now I know that this is a unusual example, but hear me out. Now, how many of us have been in these type of scenarios and felt powerless, as if the life was being sucked out of us? And the answer isn't millions. My friends, this is the whole world. Chia. Well, maybe not the divorce part for some, but definitely the lost loved ones that hits home with everyone. Trust me, I'm still thankful to have both my parents in my life still, and I don't like to think of the day when they'll be gone. However, you can see even that vulnerable side of myself can be portrayed in the character, which means many would relate to it. Again, although we are creating fictional stories like the wizard in the example, there still needs to be some emotional sense of humanity, regardless if the character is alien or something else. Just like I quoted from Bruce Lee in a previous podcast, we need emotional content. And this isn't just for martial arts, everyone. I feel personally that Bruce Lee meant this for life in general. He's a very spiritual and in tune guy with life, and I feel that he solely meant for emotional content to stand out for life itself. But my friends, I cannot tell you how to write your own story, for every writer is their own writer and has their own style. But I will say this, that having this emotional content or having this vulnerability will definitely bring your audiences in closer. And if you don't believe me, at least listen to one of your favorite authors in fiction or fantasy and hear them out, because I'm more willing to bet that they have said the same thing, just articulated in a different way in their own version. Now, I know all of you beautiful souls out there aren't full-blown villains. At least I hope not. I know that you have a heart, regardless if you like to show it or not. But if not, show it to people in person. At least be not afraid to share it in your stories. Again, I feel, and I strongly feel, that this is more than about getting your audience to connect with you, but this is as well about you feeling more connected with yourself and naturally expressing all that is beautiful about you. But let me rephrase that, not just the beautiful, in fact, also the ugly too, because I think when we show the bad sides of ourselves, or what we feel is bad, or what other people think is bad, this also shows this humanity within us, because, none of us are perfect. We all have our flaws. We all have our pros and cons. But my friends, I'm not saying that you should go sign up for Darth Vader's, group and become part of the dark side. That's something I never propose. I'm all about positivity and bringing out the best out of yourself. So what I'm saying is, get it out of you. If you do have this ugliness or this bad side of you, get it out on paper, because getting it out will, again, this is therapy. It will bring it out of you onto paper so that it's no longer a part of you. You've been able to express it. In fact, breathe in, breathe out. You've been cleansed. So my friends, be one and know that you are special, and that this emotion, this vulnerability you hold inside is something that your audience needs to feel. More so, the story itself, for it is the one thing that will be expressing all of this. As always, lovely people, keep writing, keep reading, keep at it, and most importantly, become a child again. Imagine, my friends. I'll talk to you all again soon.
Hope you all enjoyed and had something to take away from today's discussion. To find out more about our lovely host, Patrick Starks, and even some of his writing works, go to www.paycark.com. That's www.paycark.com. Stay tuned for the next episode of Write Our Way, and have yourself a fantastic day.